What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Tuesday and welcome to another edition of Quita in the Mornings. My name is Quita. We are in the mornings and we're going to have a good time talking about some women's hoops. So make sure to grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your water, grab your orange juice, and let's get into it. If you all are watching on your TV, make sure to let me know. Let me know. Let me know if you're watching on your TV. If you're watching on your phone, let me know where y'all watching from, the device y'all watching on, and where y'all are coming from. Are y'all on the East Coast? Some of y'all up really early on the West Coast? Are some of y'all out of the country? I'm just curious. I want to know. Hello, hello, hello. Again, thank you all so much for watching and joining. Guys, we have a big show to go through. Here's the deal. I come into these days kind of knowing the next day kind of what I want to talk about. And today I wanted to do like my way back into time history lesson about what happened in WNBA past. But news happened yesterday and I was like, actually no, I have to hold off on my plans because we got some big news to attend to when it comes to the WNBA. We got a team that may be relocating, sold even. We're going to talk about some of the cuts that happened yesterday because there was a whole lot of them. So yes, times have changed because hey, things happen. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. I hope y'all are ready for it. We got D from Dallas. Okay. We have Eddie from Massachusetts. Phone and TV? Wow. Josh, East Coast love. Shout out to all the East Coast people. Shout out to all of the East Coast people. Oh, thanks. It's cause it's light outside. So like the light, there's a window right here and the light is pouring through the window. I think that's why. I think that's why my lighting looks good in this one. Peg says, "Good morning. I watch on my TV, but link to my phone so I can do comments." I'm from Delaware, retired. Shout out to all the retired people. Man, shout out to all the retired people. Yes, I am rocking the Anybody Can Get Got shirt. Looks pretty snazzy, don't you think? It looks pretty snazzy. All right, we got somebody from, all right, we got a fellow Chicagoan. All right, like that. I like that. So a lot of East Coast people. Okay. New Orleans, represent. All right, South Carolina. All right. That's funny. Yeah, shout out to all the retired people. Anyway, we have a big show. I don't want to waste your time because y'all time is valuable. Okay, we got a big one to get into, and I actually want to start with a question, guys. Is this the end of the Connecticut Sun? Here's the deal. The Connecticut Sun may be on their way out, not just of playoff contention, not just out of title talk contention. No, I'm talking out of Connecticut entirely. After more than 20 years as one of the WNBA's most consistent and successful franchises in the league, the team that helped to prove that pro women's basketball could work outside of NBA ownership, the Connecticut Sun are officially exploring a sale. And if the reports are true, the sale will probably include relocation. And in a lot of ways, this is way more than just a headline. This is massive news. But to truly understand how big of news this is and what truly is at stake, you have to first understand how rare and how groundbreaking this Connecticut Sun team has always been, basically, since the beginning. This is a groundbreaking, rare team. And how it came to be is a story that I know a lot of people may not know. So let's go through it. So we're going to rewind all the way to 2022. All right. In 2022, the NBA at that time was still the sole owners of individual teams. Like the NBA, sole owner, all the teams were owned by the NBA. And in 2002, the NBA Board of Governors ended up voting to restructure the WNBA to allow individual team ownership, including ownership to non-NBA owners. The league also divested their ownership of WNBA franchises, which meant a move that sent several teams to be sold to either their NBA counterpart or an independent third party, or completely shutting down. And that third option of completely shutting down was originally going to be the fate of the Orlando Miracle. The reason why was because the Orlando Magic and their team owner, Rich DeVos at the time, he was not interested in keeping the Orlando Miracle. He loved the Magic. The Magic was doing great. He was like, you know what, NBA? I know y'all want the team, the local ownership groups to own the WNBA team, but I don't want the Miracle. I don't. And so with Rich DeVos saying no for Orlando Magic ownership of the Miracle and no other local ownership group emerging, it looked like the Orlando Miracle were about to fold. They were about to fold as a team and just become a blip in the WNBA's history. But the Orlando Miracle ended up getting a second chance. And that second chance came from the Mohegan Tribe. So the Mohegan Tribe, they're the owners of the Mohegan Sun Casino in Unkinsville, Connecticut. This is a location that was different, definitely different. But the tribe decided that, you know what, we want to become an owner of a pro team. The Orlando Miracle is a team that's up for sale. We think we're going to buy it and we're going to make some stuff happen. This is a tribe that owned the casino. They had a brand new arena. The state had a growing appetite as a whole when it came to women's basketball, thanks to the University of Connecticut. Gina Orium and the players over there, they made UConn into a legacy place when it came to women's basketball. And the state of Connecticut all benefited from that. And the tribe, they had a bold vision to become the first Native American tribe to own a pro sports franchise. The tribe ended up deciding to buy the Orlando Miracle for $10 million, and they relocated the team to rural Connecticut, which is Unkinsville, Connecticut. And just like that, the Connecticut Sun was born. And here's the deal, guys. At the time, this was a very controversial thing. Now, looking back on it, you may be like, what's controversial about a Native American tribe? What's controversial about a casino owner? What's controversial about them owning a WNBA team? What's controversial about that? Well, to understand, we have to go back to when this team was sold. This team was sold in the early 2000s. Sports betting was very much frowned upon when it came to American pro sports, especially the NBA. The NBA was allergic to sports betting. Now they love it. Now, basically, you watch NBA or WNBA game, all you see is sports betting ads. But at the time, this was not a thing. This was not seen to be family friendly. This was not seen to be good for business, and it was very much frowned upon. So, they said that the affiliation with the Mohegan Tribe and the casino that they own would taint the league's wholesome image. Also, some people felt that the team would suffer because families would not want to take their kid through a maze of smokers, gamblers, and slot machines walking towards a game because the arena is inside of the casino. So there were quite a bit of people who had a lot to say about the decision to sell the Orlando Miracle to the Mohegan Tribe. And at the time, here's what Val Ackerman said. Val Ackerman was the WNBA president at the time, and she said, among other things, the casino here does not accept any form of sports betting, so that aspect didn't present any problems for us. So even though people had overall issues about it being in a casino and that sort of being a part of the ownership group, even though it's in the middle of nowhere, because the casino did not allow sports betting at the time, the WNBA and the NBA was like, you know what? Yes, we're going to make this thing happen. This is a team. This is a group that actually wants this team. This way, this team does not have to completely fold, and they don't allow sports betting. So it should be okay. Everything should be okay. And then we add on to the fact that it actually took a long time to get this deal sold, right? It took a while to get this deal done. So much time, in fact, that the deal was not completed until January of 2003. And that is, if you just do the numbers, like that's 4 months before the start of the 2023. That was just 4 months before the start of the 2003 season. So there was a whole bunch of doubt, a whole lot of stuff riding on this launch of this new team, or relocated team, but basically brand new team, because this is going to be a team in a small market. It's going to be a casino venue. It's going to be a team with no NBA tie, and they're going to have a short launch time of just 4 months to get everything set to go to launch your new team. But the Mohegan Tribe made it work. And enter the rise of the Connecticut Sun. Now, guys, I'm going to get to your comments in just a second. And again, guys, 2003. If I meant to say 2003. If I said 2023, I meant 2003. Anyway, I will get to y'all comments in just a sec. But again, as I'm going through this, let me know what's some new stuff that you heard and you was like, what? I didn't know that. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Anyway, because I love history. Okay. All right. So insert the rise of the Connecticut Sun. Not only did the Connecticut Sun work as a franchise, the Connecticut Sun thrived largely under head coach Mike Thibault. The team ended up making it far, right? In the first season of the team's existence, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's in year one. Normally, in the first year of a new team, usually they're bad. They're not very good. But in year one, this team made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then the second year in their existence, they made it to the WNBA Finals. Not just in 2004, but also in 2005 as well. In only their second and third year in the league, the team made it to the finals. And while attendance for the Connecticut Sun has always kind of fluctuated towards the bottom of the league, this is a team that was able to build a loyal fan base that allowed the Connecticut Sun in 2010 to become the first WNBA team to actually turn a profit. Yes. There's a lot of folks who say that WNBA teams have never turned a profit. That's not true. In 2010, the Connecticut Sun became the first WNBA team to actually turn a profit. It helps, even though the numbers overall for attendance was smaller, because they're in a smaller market, because expenses are in large part lower in some instances, they were actually able to turn a profit in 2010. And this is a team that had stars like Nikisha Sales, Katie Douglas, Lindsay Whalen, Chinea Gumake, Alyssa Thomas, and on and on and on and on. The Connecticut Sun, they always was able to figure out a way to have a successful roster. They did go through brief spurts where they were not very good, but overall, this has been one of the most successful and consistent teams in the league. Now, you want me to go through the numbers? Let's go through the numbers, okay? 16 playoff appearances for the Connecticut Sun. 11 semifinal appearances. Now, this is both in the current semifinals structure in the WNBA and also Eastern Conference finals back when the WNBA had the East and West Coast structure for the playoffs. So if you combine the old version of the playoff with the new version of the playoffs, the Connecticut Sun have appeared in 11 semifinal games. 11. That's a lot. All right. Also, this is a team that has appeared in 4 WNBA finals. Now, this is one of the teams that, despite a lot of winning, despite a lot of success, this is still one of the teams that does not have a WNBA championship. Right? That's the one claim to fame that Connecticut has not been able to showcase. But in just about every other metric, this team has been successful on the court. Right? So on the financial side, you turn a profit. And on the court, you win a whole bunch of games. That showed some pretty good success for the Connecticut Sun and showed that the decision to tread this new ownership path was not just a novelty act. This was a blueprint of sorts for how independent ownership could work in the WNBA, because at the time, the Connecticut Sun was the first independent owner. Not only was this the first Native American ownership, not only was this the first WNBA team in Connecticut, this also was the first non-NBA franchise-owned team. This was owned by an independent group. And at the time, there was a lot of question marks when the team was first sold about, would this actually work? Can this work? Can a non-NBA backed group actually successfully run a WNBA team? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, they can. But here's the issue. Because in order to get to where we are now, we have to understand the past and then weave our way to current day. Okay? The issue is that same blueprint that was successful in order to turn a profit and whatnot, and to find some success, that same blueprint is now being questioned because the league has changed. Times have changed. Today, the WNBA is a star-driven league that is growth-focused and market-hungry. This means cities like New York, Las Vegas, and the Bay Area, they overall offer players, I should say, a whole lot, right? Brand opportunities, visibility, easier travel, better amenities, and more and more and more and more. So all of these bigger markets have so much to offer players. And for Connecticut, well, it's a different world. The Connecticut Sun operate in the league's smallest media market. The arena is nice, but the practice facility is pretty terrible. According to a whole bunch of players, the team shares a community gym with public events. The team has literally had to prep for a playoff series on half of a court because the other side was being taken up by, what was it, a 2-year-old birthday party? It's wild. Alyssa Thomas talked about it, quite a bit. Talked about the situation in Connecticut. She said that traveling for the Sun is the worst travel in the WNBA. She said their travel schedule was brutal. It was terrible. No one really liked being in Connecticut. While Connecticut was a successful team on the court, the players were not happy with the overall situation. They weren't happy about the travel overall. They were not happy about the practice area. And they were just not happy about the investments that the team gave the players. Because they saw other teams investing and launching new stuff and doing all this new stuff. And then they looked at Connecticut and nothing was really happening. Right? Deja Carrington, now with the Dallas Wings, but she said there were even times where they would stay at airports or stay at hotels close by the airports instead of their own apartment so they can make early flights the next day, because it is far from it's a significant trek to go from the Connecticut Sun Arena to a reasonable airport. So while other franchises like Vegas, Seattle, Phoenix, and so on and so forth are building new practice facilities and making investments up the wazoo, the Connecticut Sun was falling far, far, far behind. So let's talk about why. Why is this sale happening right now? Well, it's about the money, honey. It is about the money, honey. According to reports from Sportico, the Mohegan Tribe has hired Allen and Company to explore selling the Connecticut Sun, and they are not just looking for investors. This is expected to be a control sale, which means that the buyer would have full authority to move the team. Now, if someone's going to buy this team, they're going to move it because Connecticut just in the future doesn't make a ton of sense in terms of a place where you can make a lot of money in a decent amount of time. Now, potential destinations, well, there's a lot of them, right? The list includes Boston, Philadelphia. There are some cities who have already bid on WNBA expansion teams. And you could see why there could be a lot of interest in the Connecticut Sun. And you can see why the Connecticut Sun are actually making the decision to actually sell this team now. The reason why is because just look at the payday that they can possibly get. Golden State Valkyries paid $50 million in 2023 to get their new team. Now, at this point, this seems like a bargain. $50 million, because if you compare that to Portland, who reportedly paid $125 million, that's a huge bargain, right? And Portland, they start playing in 2026 with a team name that is still TBD. We'll see what their name is. I didn't put Toronto in here, but Toronto, their price tag was pretty up there as well. And then we look at Cleveland. Supposedly, according to a front office sports scoop, here's the thing that I find hilarious. This is a quick segue from this conversation, and I'm gonna come right back. So, front office sports, they hired Annie Costabile. She was at the Sun-Times. Now she's at front office sports, and she wrote an article. It was her and somebody else. I forgot the other person's name. They wrote an article talking about this potential sale, and then it just randomly dropped in some random information that I was just like, what? Here's the deal. It seems like Annie Costabile is always dropping in random scoops inside articles, just like burying a random scoop that no one ever heard of, and just buries it in a article, and you're reading it and you're like, what? That's wild. According to an article by Front Office Sports, Cleveland is looking to have a franchise, and they're likely to be awarded the next franchise for the WNBA, and that's going to hit around $200 to $250 million. And I was just like, wait, what? I did not realize that Cleveland was so close to getting a team. Like, I was like, what? But yeah, the article said, according to reports, the WNBA is set to announce Cleveland as the 16th expansion franchise following a record bid from Cavaliers ownership group valued between $200 and $250 million. Now, this is basically breaking news that's buried towards the bottom of the article about the Connecticut Sun. And I was just like, wow. That's why you have to read articles. You just can't look at the headline, because sometimes there is some critical facts in these articles and you like, what? So I'm gonna drop the link. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat to that article. Read the article. I'm telling you, man. That lady always be getting the scoops. She always be getting the scoops. Anyway, let's return back to the conversation about the Connecticut Sun, because I just had to drop that in. So all the Cleveland people, all the Ohio people, y'all better get excited, because y'all about to have a team. Okay, y'all are about to have a team. All right. Anyway, back to the regularly scheduled program. Okay. Now I gotta remember exactly where I was. Quita says Quita the Nugget. Hey man, I gotta look. Because here's the thing, like, you know, there's so many people who, like, you may just look at the headline, like the title and a little teaser, or you may read like the first 2 paragraphs. But if Annie is writing an article, you have to read the entire thing, because you don't know what news she may be breaking in that article that she just glosses over, and you're just like, what? Wait, pause. Can you just write a whole article about this one line? You know, I'm just saying. Work says nobody wants Cleveland. Well, clearly, people want Cleveland. I mean, the Cavaliers want it so much so that they're willing to pay between $200 and $250 million for it. So, also remember, wasn't the it was in Cleveland. The Final Four was in Cleveland. What, 2 years ago? And so yeah, she really is. Yeah. Anyway, back to the regularly scheduled program. Darn, I have to remember exactly where I was. Okay. Anyway, so the news about Cleveland. Okay, so for the Mohegan Tribe, they are interested in selling this team because they're a organization that bought the Connecticut Sun for $10 million. In 2003, the Mohegan Tribe paid $10 million. And if you look at 50 million, 125, maybe 200 million, if you're looking at those figures, yes, these are expansion teams, but so that means that, you know, maybe a sale would be maybe around that 80 million to maybe 100 million range. Even if it's significantly lower than $200 million, that's still huge return on investment. Huge return on investment. And here's the deal. This is the Mohegan Tribal Gaming Authority is, they recently had to refinance because they're in some serious debt. I read an article that said that they recently refinanced $1.5 billion in debt. It's a lot of debt. It's a lot of money. And they refinance it, so it seems like they're okay for right now. But the sale of this team could help overall functions when it comes to the Mohegan Tribe as a whole, and help in a lot of their other business dealings. And the idea of selling this team for significantly more than you paid for, I mean, that's a little bit too good of a possibility to just give up, to have to just invest way more in the squad, because with the new CBA, they're going to have to improve their practice facilities. They're going to have a lot more investments if they want to keep this team. So it probably does make sense just to cut your losses and gain millions and millions of dollars upon a sell. So here's the thing. This is a win-win. Since 2019, the Sun have made it to 6 straight semifinals. They made it to 2 final appearances. Again, we've talked about the success of this team, all without being able to land major free agents. Because for the most part, no one really wanted to play at Connecticut. Not really. But they were able to make some stuff happen. This past offseason was a massive reset for this team. They lost their entire starting 5, including their best player, Alyssa Thomas. They lost their head coach, and she left for Indiana. And yet, here we are. We're still talking about Connecticut because Connecticut is always in the conversation of being an interesting team, right? There's people who always say that the Connecticut Sun is like, they're always the bridesmaid, never the bride, because they're always right there. They're always very successful, but they never can actually win a championship. But they're a team that has some really interesting and exciting talent, like Anissa Morrow, like a Sanaya Rivers. Their on-court product for years has been strong. And yes, while they don't have the most fans in the WNBA, their fans are loyal. And that's all and good, all well and good. But overall, the infrastructure of this team needed work, serious work. And on the business side, things may have finally just caught up with them. So, what now? What happens next? Well, no deal has been finalized just yet. No buyer has been named, but we do know that Allen and Company was the organization that was hired to start shopping this team. Neither Allen and Company nor the Connecticut Sun have publicly spoken about this yet. Once they do, I will make sure to make an update and let you all know what's going on. But what we do know is that the league wants growth. And we do know that expansion fees are skyrocketing. Y'all saw that last slide. And it's kind of hard to imagine a buyer with, a buyer spending close to $100 million on the Connecticut Sun and not wanting to move the team to a bigger market, to a newer facility, and give them more national visibility. Relocation is not a maybe. It's, for the most part, definitely happening. It feels very likely and in a lot of ways necessary to further the success of this team. So, where to next? Boston? Maybe. Possibly. The Connecticut Sun drew a sellout crowd, what was that, last year with about 19,000 people in attendance for their first game ever at TD Garden, which is where the Boston Celtics play. And, there's another game that's happening this upcoming summer in Boston. And here's the deal. I can totally anticipate Boston being the team that ultimately, the Boston Celtics being the organization that ultimately buys this team. It makes sense because Connecticut is not that far from Boston. It's about, I believe it's about 2 hours away. If folks are if folks are in the East Coast area, maybe you all can give me a more defined time. But I read somewhere that it's around 2 hours away. Now, don't know how accurate that is, but anyway, it's not that far. There already is a connection between the Connecticut Sun and the Boston Celtics. Boston really wants a WNBA team, so it makes a lot of sense for this team to relocate to Boston. Makes a lot of sense. And WNBA players will 100% support that because, again, Boston is a major market. It's a major market. Okay, 2 hours, Jeff. Thank you for confirming that. All right, so I have laid out all the facts. So everything I said earlier, that's all the facts that we know right now. Okay, that's everything we know. Now, I wanted to I wanted to lay that out before I actually gave y'all my thoughts about this. All right. So now, if y'all have any questions, let me know. But I walked through the history of the Connecticut Sun, how the Mohegan tribe actually even got the Connecticut Sun to begin with, what people thought about it at the time, how successful this team has been over time, but also how while they've had success on the court, it has not totally led to investments off the court for the team. I've talked about all that stuff. So with all that being said, here are my actual thoughts about this. All right. So I'm double-minded by this whole thing. I am double-minded. I am of two minds about this whole thing. Because on one hand, Connecticut is proof that a small market can and will work if you work it. The fans did show up year after year. Yes, it's on the smaller side in the league. Yes, it is. But they were consistent. The Connecticut Sun built a culture in a small market that got some success, a lot of success, right? This is a team that did not fail on the court. Again, since 2019, the Sun have made it to six straight semifinals, 2 finals appearances, all without being able to land a major free agents. They have proven that small markets do indeed work. However, this is a team that fell behind off the court, not on the court, because they fell behind in infrastructure. They fell behind in investments. They rested on their laurels. And now, after handling business on the court, they didn't handle it off the court. And after 20 plus years, they are getting pushed out, slowly but surely pushed out of Connecticut. Because I tell you, this is a very timely exploration for a sell because the new CBA is coming. And players are mad about the situation in Connecticut. If the mass exodus didn't tell you anything, it tells you that players are fed up. They're fed up. They're done with sharing a 2-year birthday party, sharing the court with a. Well, let me say that again. Okay. Players have shown that they are sick and tired of less than great amenities. We have seen investments all through the board, right? So many teams either have brand spanking new practice facilities and amenities, or they have announced new practice facilities and amenities, right? Having an arena that is so far from the airport that it makes traveling a nightmare, having a practice facility that is basically a community center that you have to share the court with birthday parties and whatnot, it's terrible, right? And it's a nightmare. So here's the deal. When it comes to business, especially in sports, you have to evolve or get out the game. Evolve or get out the game. And we are seeing the rest of the league evolve. The rest of the leagues are evolving, right? So, it's been a long time. The Connecticut Sun have not evolved. They have stayed successful on the court, but off the court, they have not evolved. And now it is time for the Connecticut Sun to wave the white flag, to collect their millions of dollars and get out of women's basketball. That's what it's about. So while I love the idea of a small market team being successful, and I don't like the idea of the WNBA only being in major markets, if you don't want to invest, Sell the team, leave, move on. Boston will take great care of this team. They will have the amenities they want. They will have all the stuff they want, and players and fans will be happy. So, evolve or get out. And seems like the Mohegan Tribe is going to be getting out with a very substantial payday, might I add. So, that's what I have to say. That's my thoughts on this. Now, your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say. Let me know your opinions. Should the Connecticut Sun team be sold? Should it be sold? And if it is sold, should they relocate? And if it does relocate, where should they go? You know? Drop your comments in the chat. Drop it in the comments section if this is after the stream. Yeah, I'm just curious to hear what you all have to say. Also, guys, did y'all learn anything? Did y'all learn anything about the Connecticut Sun? Was this even interesting? I don't know. I'm curious. But I tell you this. Guys, when I tell you, I had so much fun doing research for this live stream. I had so much fun. This was really, really fun to do. Y'all know I love random pieces of history. I love like looking at old stuff. So I was literally reading articles from 2003. Guys, the New York Times, like this is something I didn't know actually, because I wasn't reading the New York Times in 2003. But did you know that the New York Times like actually has a really good record of reporting when it comes to the WNBA? Like I don't know if they still do, because I read the Athletic, so I guess technically they do because they own the Athletic. But like I was literally reading articles from 2003 that was walking through the complaints that people had about the Connecticut Sun and about the decision to sell what was then the Orlando Miracle to the Mohegan Tribe. Like there was like the whole casino thing and whatnot. That was documented in New York Times articles. I also saw it was just one. It was like a couple. It was a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 articles from the New York Times that around that time that kind of walked through what was going on. Also, there was one. I think was there a Washington Post article? I think might have been that talked about it as well. But anyway, I thought it was fun to look at some old stuff and see what's going on. What was going on at the time when I was watching the WNBA, but I wasn't, I wasn't into the WNBA news like that. I was just watching it on TV. I wasn't, I didn't know really what was going on like this. Amanda, thank you so much for your message. Says the history and archives was it. Loved it and so excited to see the continual unfolding. Well, thank you. Oh, we got some super chats. Super chats. Thank you so much, Peg, for the super chat. Says Philly needs to jump on this. Well, yeah, but I think Boston already kind of has a relationship, so I feel like Boston might get this. We'll see. What do the rest of y'all think? Jason says, thanks so much for the super chat. Says Cavs owner is worth $24 billion, second in the NBA. Wow, that's a lot of money. Can you imagine 1% of that? Can you imagine 1% of that? Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. All right. 1% of what the Cavs owner has. That's crazy. That is crazy. Maybe one day I'll have 0.2% of that. Anyway, another super chat. Thank you so much, DMB, for the super chat. Says Sun to Nashville, Tennessee Summit would be dope. I like it, and there is a potential ownership group that's trying to get a team to Nashville. We'll see if that happens. But here's the deal: I actually worry that will they come into Nashville is a way bigger city than Uncasville, so actually. Well, because the issue that the Connecticut Sun had is they were the pro team, but in popularity and whatnot, they were overshadowed by UConn, and they were in a small city. So that I think overall just hurt their overall total growth. But maybe with Tennessee it'll be different because Nashville is a booming city, from what I understand. I think I went to Nashville once, I think. But from what I understand, it's a booming city, so like maybe they won't have the same issue because it's a bigger place. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for the super chat. Says, I hope Tennessee can get a team soon, but I'm just excited / happy for the momentum of women's sports right now. Also, love these morning briefings. Well, salute to you. Thank you so much for your support. Guys, this segment took way longer than I expected. I did not actually expect it to be on this segment for so long, but alas, here we are. Here we are because I can't stop talking. And like I love to randomly look at history and I just keep diving in and I just keep seeing stuff and saying stuff. So anyway, W Bazil says, Quita, lots of new fans. So this history lesson was a thing to do. I'm sure it was well received. I hope so. Eric says, Sun to become Boston Clovers. I don't know. I kind of like it. Boston Clovers. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. Vic says the Boston Beans. Also says, hit that like button. It's free. It is free. It is free. D-Time says, okay, what's up with DJ, who I assume you're talking about Deja, I think. All right, so actually, let's move on. It's a good segue because I got like 7 minutes before I got to go to work. So, all right, let's get to this next story quick. And again, I will take a look at y'all at the rest of y'all comments as we continue to go on. Yeah, sorry. Boston Charms. Oh my goodness. Please, Boston Charms. Please let this be the name. Boston Charms would be so amazing. Please. Okay? Please. Boston Charms. I think that'd be hilarious. And then they can have a brand deal with Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious. Oh man, I'm hilarious. Anyway, I'm not hilarious at all. Anyway, if y'all like the randomness and like somewhat cringiness of this channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Anyway, here's the deal. Let's get to this quick piece around Deja Kelly. All right, so Deja Kelly hit a game-winning shot. She dropped 15 points in around 13 minutes. She showed poise. She showed confidence. She showed skill in her first, her first couple appearances in WNBA preseason. In 2 games. In 2 games, she had 9 points in 7 minutes. She had 15 points in 13 minutes. In both of those games, she shot more than 70% from the field. And after all of that, the Las Vegas Aces they still decided to cut Deja Kelly. Yes, that is the headline. Because, it's just what happens in the WNBA. Sometimes you ball out in preseason and you still do not make the cut. This is the reality for dozens of players that are trying to make it in one of the most competitive leagues in the world. Definitely most competitive women's basketball league in the world. So let's break down what happened, why it kind of hurts, and what could be next for one of the most surprising preseason standouts in the league. So let's go back to yesterday. Monday afternoon, the Las Vegas Aces announced that they have waived guard Deja Kelly. This is a move that for some fans was a blindsider. For other fans was just an inevitability. Especially for those who, watched her play in preseason and was like, yeah, she's great, but I see the reality of the Aces roster, and it's just not going to happen. Deja Kelly wasn't just good. She was one of the most efficient scorers in preseason. Again, 15 points, 5 of 7 from the field, 4 for 4 from the line. She made the game-winning jumper with under 5 seconds to go against Phoenix to get the Las Vegas Aces a 1-point win, 85-84. That game was on May the 6th. Right? And just days before that, she had 9 points in 7 minutes in a game that she didn't get in, I don't believe, until the fourth quarter, where she shot 4 of 5 from the field against Dallas. In a game that I was at, me, mama, daddy, we were there at Notre Dame to watch the Aces versus Dallas. And Deja came in and played very well. So, let me say that again. She played a total of 20 minutes in preseason. And she scored 20. She wound up scoring 24 points. 24 points on 75% shooting. It's pretty good, right? And she got cut. Deja's road to the WNBA was a uphill battle. She went undrafted, and in 2025 WNBA draft, she was there despite being a 3-time first-team All-ACC guard at North Carolina. She was 8th all-time in North Carolina scoring history for their women's basketball program. And she was one of the most recognizable college players of the last couple of years. In her last season of college eligibility, she decided to leave North Carolina, go to Oregon as a grad transfer, and put up around 12.5 or 12.2 points a game, 4.3 rebounds a game, 3.3 assists per game. She graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism, by the way, which I'm gonna talk more about in a hot second. And she went to the WNBA draft, and she was there. I don't know if she was with a specific company. I don't know, what the situation was, but I know she was there. She was dressed up. She was hoping for her name to be called. Unfortunately for her, it was not called. Then after the WNBA draft is over, she may have been sad or like whatever, like, hey man, my time may not come in the WNBA, but she stayed hopeful. She got a phone call from the Las Vegas Aces. They signed her to a training camp contract. And now, Deja Kelly, someone who was undrafted, was going toe-to-toe with the 2-time champs in practice. Then she makes it to 2 games, has 2 amazing preseason games, does everything she possibly could, and the reward is getting released before opening day. Now, here's the deal. This wasn't about performance. This was about the numbers. That's what this was about. The Las Vegas Aces needed to cut another player. And they already had 6 players on guaranteed contracts, including Kirsten Bell. And let's be honest, no shade, but Kirsten Bell did not have the same preseason as Deja Kelly. Right? She didn't. But she's on a guaranteed contract. So is Dana Evans, for that matter, who did not play in the preseason due to injury. So the Las Vegas Aces had a decision to make. They had a decision to make with the pieces that they could. And they made the decision to waive Deja Kelly. Now, could she be back? Sure. Possibly. Could she be back with the Las Vegas Aces this year? Possibly. Definitely a possibility. Could she be on another team this season? Absolutely. That's a possibility. But this is the harsh truth of the WNBA. The WNBA is one of the most competitive leagues in the world, but only has 13 teams. And each team can only carry a maximum of 12 players. That is 156 players. And that number does not budge until maybe at the end of this season when we get a new CBA. Right? It's not always about the play of a player. It's about your current contract restrictions. It's about the cap space that you have. It's about who's protected, who's not. And sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes it's bad timing. Sometimes you're just unlucky. Sometimes you're just unlucky. So, what happens now? Well, as far as I've seen, Deja hasn't publicly said anything yet. But she's made it clear in the past that Deja Kelly has made it clear in the past that she is interested in pursuing pro hoops and a career in broadcasting. So if there's another team out there that wants to pick her up, yeah, she'll probably go there and play. And, she'll do a good job if she's on the team this year. I think there's a chance that she may get signed to another team sometime this year. But if she doesn't, you can expect Deja Kelly to be on your screens either on ESPN, Amazon, CBS, or some other network because Deja Kelly is a broadcast star in the making. So either we're going to see injury or some sort of roster shift or something happen and Deja Kelly will be brought back, or we will see Deja Kelly on our screens, not with a basketball in hand, but with a mic in hand. So either way, Deja Kelly gonna win. Either way, right? Either she hooping or she talking about hoops. Like I don't have any doubt that she will have a very successful career in whatever she ends up doing. I know some folks will be like, hey, she was undrafted and, she performed better than players who are guaranteed on teams. And yeah, sure. You could, yeah, it just is what it is. It is what it is. All right. The benefit that we have is that we are now seeing an expansion of teams, right? This year we added the Golden State Valkyries. Next year we have 2 teams getting added to the WNBA. And so there will be more chances for players like a Deja Kelly in the future to make some stuff happen. Okay? So, yeah, Deja Kelly does not make the cut. I don't think it's because she's not good enough. I think it's ultimately because the league just does not have enough room for all of the talent that deserves to be in the league. So, and that's a problem. That's a problem, but it is what it is. I did not expect Deja to make this team, and she did not make this team. All right. Looks like Aaliyah Nye is making this team, I think in a lot of ways because of her 3-point shooting. It's just elite. It really is. It really is elite. So yeah. That's why I had Aaliyah Nye over Deja, because Aaliyah Nye was just really, really, really good in terms of her 3-point shooting, and like Deja is a good player, a really good player. However, she doesn't have the 3-point shooting like a Nye does. So that's the difference. So let me know in the comments. Do you all are y'all surprised? Are y'all upset? Are y'all kind of like, hey, that's fine. She's a podcaster. She's a broadcast person. She's gonna do just fine in her life. I don't know. Let me know y'all thoughts in the chat. Okay, let's get to some comments real quick, and then I got to go. Thank you so much for Sean. Anthony for the super chat says, Quita, Deja is getting waived. Getting waived is not a surprise. I didn't see them going with her over Nye. Plus, the contract situation with others on the team. Yeah. I didn't have her staying over Nye. Yeah, I didn't. Vic says, not surprised about Deja because you told us. Yeah. I did make a previous video about how I thought that, you know, even though she played well, she's probably going to get cut. Because that just is what it is. All right. Tulip says, not surprised she'll succeed in media. I agree. Yeah, like I think in a lot of ways it's a win-win for Deja. Yeah, sure. Is she probably very disappointed? Yes. Maybe there's something in the works that she may end up back with this Las Vegas Aces team. Maybe. Either way, she's gonna win, dog. You know, she has like the philosophy. I think that's how you pronounce it. She had a podcast on the NIL that I used to watch. Like it that was really really good, where she would talk to people about their name, image, and likeness, and like getting a bag and all that stuff. Like it was a really interesting podcast. I can't has she I don't know if she's still doing that since she left Oregon, but yeah, like she has a lot of stuff going for her. She had like a brief I think she had a day or so where she was shadowing some of the ESPN folks and what they do. Like she's gonna be good. I have no worries about her at all. She's gonna be good. Lindy says maybe someone will pick her up just late in the game for that to happen. I mean, she could get picked up. She could. I don't see her getting picked up by another team before, if the Aces don't pick her up again. I don't see her getting picked up before the end of before the start of the WNBA season. But it's a possibility that if people get injured or something like that happens, then maybe she gets picked up. Who knows? Thank you so much. Says Quita, you need to make a shirt that says what a like said. That's hilarious. I think that's what I need to do. I think that is what I need to do. Okay. I think I need to do that. That would be pretty hilarious. Anyway, guys, that's the stream. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Guys, I had some other stuff I wanted to cover, but I have ran out of time. Thank y'all for your support of this channel. My name is Quita. We are doing Quita in the mornings. Hit that like on y'all way out. Let me know what coverage y'all want to see more of in the future. As news happens throughout the day, know that I will not cover it that same day. I will cover it the next day. All right. So like yesterday, I saw people commenting and saying, hey, where's your Deja Kelly story at? Hey, where's your Connecticut Sun story at? I was like, hey, catch me tomorrow. Catch me tomorrow in the morning for Quita in the morning. So again, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could hit that like, hit that subscribe, tell a neighbor, tell a friend that Quita Love Sports is on the internet every morning talking about some hoops. Also, guys, I know I covered the Connecticut Sun thing, which was a huge piece of this. If you all know people who like don't know what's going on with that Connecticut Sun possible sale, if they don't know the history of the Connecticut Sun, send them this video, okay? Send them this video. I will try to put timestamps at the bottom soonish. But yeah, send them this video. Tell them to listen and learn about what's going on. I will continue to do these history lessons because history is fun for me. I love history. It's very, very fun. All right? And so, yeah. Anyway. Have a good one. Yeah. Have a good one. Be kind to someone. Tell somebody that they matter because they absolutely do. If no one has told you, you matter. You're important, and I'm happy that you are on this earth. Guys, I will see y'all in the next one. What am like said? Hit that like button. All right. See ya. Peace.